Salutations, I'm StarLotus77, and today we've got an amazing build video for you guys. So, we've got the Magnificent Pistol. So, this was a suggestion from Wilfer over in the comment section on the Blind Sage Amara video, saying, clone Ammo Regen Magnificent build. So, that's what we're doing. We have Clone Ammo Regen Anointment on the Magnificent, and we only have one, and the reason why for that is when it comes to cycling and setting up damage sources, which actually I should probably switch these here. So when it comes to cycling and dealing up with damage sources here, I'm not actually going to have to swap to reset any bugged, any like bugged ammo regen broken stuff. Because sometimes whenever you get downs, the anointment stops working, or after a certain time, the anointment stops working. So you would usually swap to get that to fix again. So what we're doing here is instead of swapping, we're just cycling clone, and that's gonna solve that problem. That and I don't feel like having multiple weapons here. I like having the one singular weapon when it comes to these runs. So it definitely helps me here. And then let's see here. So we're as you just saw, I just switched the infiltrator with the antifreeze and the Banisidorak with the Asclepius, whatever. So how this setup works, this is a full base game setup. So we're rocking nothing from Purple Tree, and I don't think nothing here is DLC. So this is like 100% DLC free, and then you can choose to run the old god, or the old god here, which is DLC 2. If you want to run any DLC items, this is probably one of the better ones. You could also run a Revolter if you wanted for that 200% instead of that 50% shock damage, but I won't be. I'm phasing out using the Revolter in general. The only times that I might use it are if it is the specific use case for the Revolter, and that is excluding using action skill star overcharge shields. It is for on shield break kind of thing with this kind of setup where we want to be at 0 shield. So how this is going to work, as you might have saw in the skill tree here, the extra challenge for this, because this is already a build that exists, like mostly, I didn't look at anybody else's setups for this, so yell at me if it's not the 100% optimal meta strat for this build. I don't freaking care. But when it comes to this, the extra challenge for this run is no life steal. I don't get to use life steal. No life steal. Y'all can do it. If you want, just switch playing dirty out with salvation, and there's your life steal. Perfect. Boom. I'm not touching it. And this may be a reoccurring thing. I may start just removing lifesteal from my runs, as I personally disagree with it being in the skill trees. I use it on a lot of the builds that I've already posted, and it is just the best in slot skill, but I personally disagree with the use case of lifesteal in the skill tree in this fashion, so I will not be using it for a little bit. If I start using it again, whenever I'm using it, it is because it was either absolutely necessary, or it fit the build dynamic perfectly. With this setup, lifesteal actually doesn't really fit it too well. I mean, of course, it is literally just kill skill lifesteal, but I'm not always gonna be proccing kill skills, which seems kind of counterproductive, right? On Zane, you always want your kill skills up. Not exactly with the setup. So how we're rocking this here: violent speed for that movement speed with violent momentum for that damage, cool hand for reload speed, sure, and we have fire rate with violent violence, and then death while is close for that crazy kill skill bonus thing. But when it comes to this, most of our setup is just reliant on the Magnificent to deal its damage, and then walking around, we are getting that violent momentum buff anyways. And then we have the Infiltrator for movement speed, and we have the Banisidorak for movement speed. So, and we have the Victory Rush for movement speed. So we're already getting a boatload of movement speed. It's all additive, so this violent speed isn't going to be giving us too much more than what we're already getting. And so violent momentum, we're still going to be getting good violent momentum procs with it. So we don't need kill skills to be active. Kill skills are not 100% needed. I still spect all the way down there because extra bossing damage, they really help for bossing. But for ad clear, which is where you're going to want your life steal, it's not 100% needed. So it's not needed for this build. There we go. Donnybrook. I have Donnybrook here. I say Donnybrook is overrated in just about every Zane video. And the reasoning for that here, and why I'm using it here, is Donnybrook by itself, gun damage wise, is not effective. In comparison to Violent Momentum, it is not effective at all. You're getting 42%, because 2 stacks of this 42%, of your gun damage from Donnybrook, while this, on average, is going to be giving you like 200%, 100 to 200%, which is already a lot. This is like half of that, and that's on average. So the diminishing returns go burr. We do not have fractal frags, and the reasoning for that is because on kill skill, Clone starts chucking nades, 42% chance, but still, if you're constantly getting kill skills, then he's going to constantly chuck nades, making his gun not deal damage. Not helpful. So we have a couple survivability tools here. We have Donnybrook as a survivability tool. Whoa, it's actually a use case for it. That's not damage. Yes, so that health regen is really nice for this because we're not running lifesteal. And so having health regen, I would say that the skill is good using health regen. If you are simply using it while you have lifesteal, then there's no point. If you're using it on a gun build and you have lifesteal, there is no point to use this skill unless you are using it to just go further down the tree, in which why not just use duct tape mod and then 2 points in Donnybrook, because more grenade chance for you is going to be helpful in most cases, but whatever. This skill would just be dump points to get down to old you, boom enhance. And even then, if you're going this deep into red tree, you may as well get double barrel, in which you're getting Donnybrook to buff double barrel. So what the heck? You are getting it for the listed purpose of the skill. Whatever. So side tangent about Donnybrook over. We have Like a Ghost for extra survivability, and we have Which One's Real for extra survivability, getting that de-aggro, and we're getting the chance to ignore bullets. Over here, Green Tree. This is the one that everybody's going to yell at me at, like per usual. I like this tree. I like it. A lot of people hate it. Y'all can cry about it. So, the skills here, Hardy Stock, giving us max shields. This isn't exactly needed, especially when we're running the Band of Sidorak, but it is really helpful when we're running those more... When we're running the other shields that you can use on this build, like the Asclepius. Good lord. When we're using this shield, or when we're using an Old God, or any other survivability-based shield, you're probably going to want the Hardy Stock to get that max shield increase. It's not exactly too helpful with this setup, but it is really nice here. We want Stiffer Upper Lip for that damage reduction. We want Rise to the Occasion for that max health regen. Sure, this damage reduction is not very high, but it's still effective when it comes to reducing the amount of damage you're taking, especially when you have stuff like, not Futility Belt, when you have stuff like the Asclepius, which is giving you that 50%, so 50%, 16%, that makes it 66%, which is still quite a bit. Normally, adding is diminishing returns, but with damage reduction here, or damage resistance, you are removing percentiles amounts of damage from the enemy, dealing damage to you. So, words, you are exponentially increasing the amount of effectiveness that you are getting from that damage reduction. Really expensive jacket to reduce status effects, and then Futility Belt, because we're not always going to be proccing kill skills. That damage reduction in general is just nice, but then get that kill skill does defeat some of the purpose of some of the other skills, but because we're not always getting kill skills, those other skills are actually really helpful here. And then we have Nanites over here. So we're getting that reload speed, and we're getting health regen, and we're getting shield recharge delay. So that recharge delay is really nice, and the health regen is really nice. So the health regen is going to be the biggest point of getting this. That reload speed is nice whenever we are cycling clone. So how we're going to be dealing a lot of damage with the Magnificent, because the Magnificent's base damage is only 18k, and we're not solely focused on damage. What we're going to be doing to increase our damage, because we only have one element at the moment, is we will be cycling action skill end on your shield. So Bandicidorak right now, you could do this with the Old God or the Asclepius, whatever. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to either be manually blowing up clone after we've immediately placed down barrier, or we wait for barrier to time out to cycle our action skills. So this way we still have a survivability tool with one of our action skills, and we have an optimal uptime with the shock damage. The shock damage I will probably only be using against corrosive heavyweights and bosses, and I might sometimes use it for like BA dogs or BA other BA type enemies. So it's not needed, but it is that nice little boost of damage. It's going to give you that. It's going to give you burst sets of damage, which is really what you need when you're running this kind of setup, especially when you're going against like invulnerability phase based bosses like the Valkyries or Wotan. So you only need that burst set of damage. You don't need anything more than that. And yeah, let's get started. Let me turn on the music here. Yeah, that crazy recharge delay is not the best when it comes to the Bandicidorak, but it does help us give that little burst damage. Now, another thing to the Bandicidorak here, and why I chose that shield instead of just switching to the Asclepius or the Old God here, is the way that this shield's form of survivability is so much fun. So in Borderlands 2, one of the primary ways that Zero gets survivability is through I forget what the like community-based term for it is, but basically you are cycling your shield. You are constantly getting it broken and constantly refilling it so that you always have the shield break immunity frames up. And that's sort of what we're doing here. So we almost always have our shield-based immunity frames because the enemies are the ones that are breaking the shield. Whenever we break the shield, it threatens to do that. So a slight problem with the anointment here, which we are seeing right now, is when you get down to just stops giving you ammo back. So there's a quick fix to that, and that is break and respawn clone. Easiest way to do that is to get down and use Old U instead of having to use Doppelbanger, but Doppelbanger is an option if you need to, especially if you want to continue to fire down enemies while you break it. I just shot clone. Well, that works, I guess. Whatever. As you can tell, against the general ads, we're getting good enough damage for it to be sufficient. There are definitely ways of buffing the damage more, but we are currently just rocking a good baseline damage to clear out all the regular ads, and then whenever we need to, we can either pop clone or wait for barrier to time out, depending on where we are in our cycle, so that we can kill off a boss like this. Alright, then pop this, and then we can just continue to fire away. And boom. And then we can just sit here and let Clone tank everything so we don't have to worry about getting into the mix. And then when we get our barrier back up, we get right back into the mix. Okay, so barrier will time out if I don't pop Clone here. So we're gonna pop Clone. And then do that. And there's that shield gone from Sigdrifta. And we get to move on to the ad clearing section of the Valks. And here, we don't even need to worry about the ads, so I'm not going to worry about them. We're not really going to deal with DPS that we'd want to... The ad clearing DPS that we'd want to clear them here anyways before a Valk spawns. So, not until, like, barrier or clone drop, which is what happened here, so that's not needed. We can kill off a couple of them to keep our kill skills going. That's really about the only use for these ads, is to just re-trigger kill skills, which we don't need to. We can proc this again. Alright, then we pop Clone to get that bonus shock damage, to get rid of that shield, and to get rid of that corrosive bar. And that ad. We wait, get you back, and get rid of you. Boom. And see, these guys just take a little bit. Once you get down that shield layer, the corrosive on the gun just shreds the enemy. Boom. And we can kill you. We can get rid of you. Get rid of infection cooldown. There we go. Swap. Not worried about that corrosive guy just yet. We're gonna wait until after the bosses are dead to worry about him. Which the bosses should go down pretty quickly here. And they're down. Alright, I'm watching my clone timer. Where's that corrosive guy? There's that corrosive guy. Goodbye to the corrosive guy. And then we just survive for a moment. Then we can place down Clone to get our ammo regen. And we can clean out the rest of the enemies here. Now, if you were running lifesteal, you could totally just run in there with the basic firing mode and immediately still shred everything and still survive it. But just because it is better doesn't mean it should be there. And I don't think it should be, so we're not using it. Okay, get rid of that. Get rid of that barrel. That barrel. This barrel. Fly around here, get rid of this barrel. Swap. Swap. Losing a little bit of damage by resetting our action skills, but it does just as well right now, because then we can proc this and head right down to back into combat. No, so I have a question for you guys. This is a genuine question. Could be related to the future of Borderlands. So when it comes to skills that you are looking for in a character, because I've been ranting about how I don't think life steal should be in the skill tree for a character. What, at least in every character. What are you looking for when it comes to skill trees and skills in a character in a Borderlands game? So I know some people prefer the BL2 skill trees, some people prefer the BL3 skill trees, some people even prefer the BL1 skill trees. And then there's the really cool people who enjoy the TPS skill trees, which I personally am not a fan of the game, but I can definitely get behind the build crafting. It is very much an enjoyable experience in TPS. Now the weapons are kind of whack for some of the things. For some of them they're just whack for a reason. Whack for a reason. Alright, we're gonna swap. Get barrier out for that extra health regen. Pop the barrels. Then get rid of these commandos. It takes a little bit, but it gets through them just the same here. We have enough health regen to counteract their status effects. We place barrier, swap barrel types, and then go ham. Swap back barrel types. We'll have enough time if I break clone here. Okay, we didn't have enough time. We still have reload speed, so we should be fine. Yeah, we're good. Let's not go that way. Alright. We're around here. Kill a guy. Swap. Shoot those. Okay. Then our shield breaks and we take out this commando. Or corroder heavyweight, sorry. Or not. Alright, and then how we're gonna do this is we're going to kill you, and then we're going to pop barrier. Then we're gonna dump the rest of the mag into you to kill it. There we go. This, and we're back in action. I probably have like a 30% accuracy rating with this weapon, because I'm still not used to the crazy kickback with the high fire rate. Should probably focus down you. And then once barrier breaks, deal with the guys in the sky. There's you. There's you. And then there's one more over there. There we go. And then we can get barrier back up. Now, theoretically, you could also run the antifreeze with the Bandicitorac, and you'd still get roughly the same result when it comes to shield break, because I'm constantly breaking my shield against the enemies. But it works out really well either way, so... I'm gonna kill you. And we're going to... try, because I don't have enough DPS to kill anybody here, do I? Oh, wait. I might have enough DPS to kill you. We'll see. If the other enemies don't get in my way. Let's go. Okay. Then we place barrier, then we place clone, then barrier. Clone is more of a survivability tool than barrier is. So you're better off placing clone first and then going into barrier. Nice try, jerks trying to knock me off the map. No, thank you. Alright, so barrier is going to break, and then we get the crazy DPS on these BAs. On a couple of these BAs, maybe? Do we have... we'll just take you out. Oh, that's not good. Okay. I messed up the Cyclone, the abilities. Oh well, that's fine. We have barrier up. We should be okay. There we go. See, it's like this doesn't even feel that much different than playing with Life Steal. We break clone and then kill a couple enemies here. And we place clone. There we go. Then we can move on. And then we're gonna wait for barrier to time out. So this way we get our full cycle on our skills. Alright, and let's head down into the boss fight. Is lifesteal required? No, it's not. I would even argue that for a lot of Zane builds, it's not even the most optimal. Okay, this is where we drop clone. For a moment, and then we do this. There we go. kill a couple enemies for health regen, and then pop barrier here. And that is takedown confirmed. What do you guys think of the extra challenge? Do you guys think I should continue to do that? Showcase how viable it is to not run lifesteal because everybody uses lifesteal? Oh. Or should I just continue to make the builds as strong as possible for these weapons? But he's not immune to corrosive damage because he's one of the regular heavyweights. He's not one of the BA ones. And there we go. That's Rotan's brain. And yeah, you guys let me know. Do you guys think that lifesteal should be in the game? And do you guys think that lifesteal is a good system at all? Do you guys think that I should continue to use it? Three crazy questions for y'all. And yeah, thank y'all for making it this far, and I hope you enjoy the rest of my content, and see you later.